So I was on Facebook yesterday and I was watching some videos that people were posting in a group called Aspiring Filmmakers. Christian Matej Grab, a fellow filmmaking YouTuber, created this group as a platform for people to discuss filmmaking, talk about gear, and give criticism and constructive feedback to other people on their work. So I was watching some edits that people were posting in there, and I came to the realization that a lot of people are making the same mistakes, whether they're a beginner or a more experienced filmmaker. And it gave me the idea to make this video because I feel like it would be helpful to a lot of people. Now, I often make mistakes in my videos, and by no means am I trying to say that I'm the role model filmmaker, but through my experience I've picked up some knowledge along the way, and I think that there's some simple adjustments that can be made in a video to make it a lot better. So here are 3 filmmaking mistakes that you might be making in your videos. Mistake number 1, shooting in the wrong frame rate. So many times I'm watching a video and a shot looks awkward, either due to being shot in 24p and then being slowed down, or being shot in 120 frames per second and being kept at regular speed. This is extremely simple to fix, and all you have to do is somewhat plan ahead while you're filming. So you have to think to yourself, how am I gonna edit this video? How do I want it to look? So if you think there's a possibility that you will be putting your clips into slow motion, I recommend that you shoot in 60 frames per second or even 120 frames per second. If you're shooting in 24p or 30p and then you try to slow that down, it's gonna look all choppy. And unless you're going for that look, this is extremely unappealing and doesn't look great. It just makes your overall video look less professional. On the other hand, if you're shooting your video in 60 or 120 frames per second and you're not slowing this footage down, your video will look a lot less professional because your footage will not have any motion blur, thus making it look very unnatural. You lose a lot of the dramatic look when you do this, and the only time you would maybe intentionally do this is if you're shooting sports or some sort of action. So that is tip number 1. Make sure you're shooting in the correct frame rate. If you're not going to use any slow motion, then use 24 or 30p. And if you are going to use slow motion, then use 60 frames or 120 frames or any higher frame rate that will let you slow the footage down and still have a smooth shot. Tip number 2. Edit to the beat of your music. There's nothing that takes you out of a video more than having wallpaper music over a bunch of footage. Next time you're editing your video, take the time to zoom in and look at the waveform of the music. Find the spikes in the audio where you can cut your clips to the beats, because this makes your video a lot more captivating and tells more of a story than just having a bunch of footage compiled into a timeline with a song wallpapered over. This simple technique will make your video look a lot more professional, and it's way more enjoyable to watch. Lastly, the 3rd tip is to stabilize your shot. Whether you do it in camera or in post, you want to make sure that your footage is stable. Now, if you have a handheld shot here and there, that's okay, and a lot of people use this and they use it effectively, and it can look good. However, if every shot in the video is somewhat shaky, it makes it look more amateur. So find a way to stabilize your camera, whether that's tucking your elbows in and using 2 hands, keeping the camera close to your chest, or if that means getting a glide cam or some sort of gimbal to stabilize the camera as well. If you've already shot your footage and it's not stable, you can always stabilize it in post using Warp Stabilizer in After Effects or Premiere, or using the stabilization feature in Final Cut also works pretty well. So if you've applied these 3 tips, I guarantee you your edit will look a lot better, and these are very simple fixes to make your video much more captivating. So I recommend that on your next edit you try these techniques, and if you found this video helpful, then please hit it with a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment down below of what videos you guys would like to see in the future, because I would love to hear some of your ideas. But that's it for today, guys, and until next time, peace!